Well, good morning. My name is Lance. I'm the North Dakota Carnivore. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and it's 12 degrees, 30 some mile an hour winds out there, and snowing. Just what you would expect from North Dakota. So it's one of those wonderful days out here. I just looking ahead for the forecast here. I was looking at that just a minute ago. It's not going to get warm this week at all. Daytime highs in the teens, single digits, and then by this coming weekend, by Friday, our daytime highs are below zero. We're looking at daytime highs of 10 below or colder, or high temperatures, 10 below zero. Overnight lows down into the 20s, which is kind of where you expect to be in North Dakota at this time of year. We've really had a mild year so far. It's really cold, but I do miss the snow and I do miss the cold. Morning, Bryce Biscuit. How you doing this morning? Saw you were over at Dustin's Keto Simple. Same with John. Good morning. Coach Juliet Edens, good morning. It's nice to have you in with us today. What's up, Uncle Willie? How you doing? Happy Sunday. John is talking to Juliet. It's a beautiful morning. We didn't do a whole lot yesterday. We hung up at the house for just about most of the day. Watched a little bit of football. Yesterday evening, we went to my daughter's for my oldest granddaughter's birthday. She turned 17 yesterday, so we went over there and hung out with them. Had dinner with them. She made some taco thing. It wasn't carnivore, but it was keto. I tried to bite. It was actually really good. Uh, she's trying. My daughter is trying to be more keto, less processed foods. She saw this recipe somewhere, and she had to watch it a bunch of times to figure out the ingredients in it. One of the things that it did have in there was a packet of ranch seasoning. And she's like, "But that's not that bad, is it?" I'm like, "See the packet. First ingredient in the ranch seasoning is maltodextrin. Before anything else, that's the very first ingredient. So, yeah, it's not a good recipe to use, but it was tasty. She's trying. She doesn't understand some of the stuff that's in the foods yet. Um, it had some keto chips that she used on them. And I can't remember what they were called, but like the fourth ingredient in them were the fourth, fifth, sixth ingredient were different seed oils, canola, uh, soybean oil, and sunflower oil or some safflower oil, something like that. So that's it's not a good thing to have in there, but it's better than what she was eating. That's for sure. Uh, but still, it's you have to watch your ingredients and you have to watch what's actually in the products that you're eating. If you're eating something that has an ingredient label, it's probably not the best thing to be eating. I just watched Dr. Barry's reaction video to the new food pyramid, and he's right on with what he's saying on it. It's less bad, is what Dr. Barry says about the new food pyramid. It's less bad. John's asking Julie, you doing or telling Julie you do an awesome job on your channel. You love watching a channel like your channel and Lance's. It's not all about eating food. I like keeping it simple, fact-based science. Thanks, John. I'm sure Julia will say the same thing. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, isn't it so amazing how much we've learned? I'm still learning. Uh, you're still amazed, yet not judgmental how many people don't read labels. Absolutely. And you would think the stuff that they put on the labels would be, or put in our foods would be good for you. So the labels are only supposed to be telling you, the good stuff that's in there, right? And that's not what it is. They got so much stuff that's generally recognized as safe, and it's just garbage. You're making a hamburger casserole, 4 pounds of ground beef, 2 pounds of cheese, and a dozen eggs. That actually sounds really good, Uncle Willie. That's a heck of a casserole right there. Our company Christmas dinner, we give away presents throughout the thing. We got a bunch of them that sit up front. You get called up there, and then you get to pick. So you get to choose what you get. And one of the things I got was another. My wife looked at me and just shook her head. I got another 8-inch cast iron skillet. I love cast iron. There's so much you can do with them. And for me, this one here is what I was thinking. This is going to look really good on my Blackstone grill or on my Pit Boss when I'm cooking steaks with it. It's going to be really good. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Aaron. How are you today? How are the games? You were at the games yesterday, right? How'd that go for you? Good morning, Bryce Biscuit. Moving over to the vertical side. Yeah, you were on the other end to be in with this morning. Yeah, it's good to see you guys. Your AAA Cup this week was tough on the diet. Had a few wraps and a burger with a bun. Not best choices, but better than eating chips and candy. That's true. Even if you have to eat something that's not good for you, finding the least harmful choices is the best thing to do. There's sometimes you can't help it. Breaking a fast at noon and going into a 48-hour water fast, and then modified line starting on Tuesday. You're gonna like it. I did since the last week of December. I've been doing 48 to 72-hour fasts, breaking it for 24 hours to eat, then going right back into a fast. And I had issues yesterday, so I ended up eating yesterday instead of fasting, and I'm going to eat again today. My body's signaling me that I fasted too much, where I wasn't getting enough when I was eating. I wasn't eating enough nutrients. So I figured if I eat Friday, Saturday, and today, Sunday, I'm going to eat for 3 days, eat more fat, get my body built back up, and I'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can fast for 72 hours starting with my last meal tonight at 6. So hopefully I can go straight back into a 72-hour fast, water fast, and go back into finish the rest of the month doing the rolling 72-hour fast, which only a couple weeks left. So hopefully that'll work out. Do a couple of 72-hour fasts and see where I end up at for my body and see how well it does on that or not. Yeah, Friday and Saturday. Good games, lots of prospects. That's awesome. The guys out there, they try hard. They really work a lot. Yeah, back in the carnivore today. That's good, Aaron. Some people can slip up, then recover, and that's perfectly fine. Give themselves grace and move forward. For me, with addiction, that will cascade into backslide. But you learn your lesson. That is really a hard thing for people to deal with. Some people they can slip up and get right back into it, and they don't have issues with it. Others are not as lucky, and they have a lot of issues trying to get back into it, and it really makes it hard. I just Emma, Carrie Mann's daughter, Emma the Carnivore, she just put out a video, and that was one of the things that she mentioned in her video was not to compare yourself to other people. And she was doing that with her dad. She was comparing herself to her dad. Carrie hasn't had anything other than carnivore. He hasn't messed up. He hasn't tried anything in over 1,000 days. Emma was trying to compare herself to him and was having trouble. When she finally figured out that that's not a good thing for her, things started working out better for her. Going out in January as a lion, not a lion. That's the way to do it. Going into February as a lion, not as a lion. Because that's the old wives' tale saying up here for March. March, it comes in like a lamb, goes out like a lion. Or it comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Meaning, however it comes in, however March comes in, whether we're having blizzards or nice weather, the end of the month will be just the opposite, which is pretty cool. After 1 year eating nothing but sardines, liver, beef, fat, you had pork yesterday and loving it. That's awesome, John. It's one of those things where, for me, after doing my elimination for the first like 30 to 45 days, when I added stuff back in, if it didn't agree with me, I knew the next morning that it didn't agree. I do caution that just try one new thing at a time to make sure that it's good. Give it a few days afterwards before you go on to something else, because it could take a couple of days before stuff sneaks back up on you. I have that issue with black pepper. If I have too much black pepper, it takes like 4 or 5 days for me to feel the effects of that. Anything for you over 24-hour fast is instant diarrhea, huh? When you're breaking it or while you're on the fast, Uncle Willie? I haven't had any issues doing these fasts I've been doing this month. I haven't had any issues breaking these fasts or while on the fast. When I first started doing fasts, I did have some issues breaking them. I found for me, breaking my fast with 2 eggs over easy, cooked in butter, and 4 pieces of bacon. Eat that slowly. Wait for 90 minutes to 2 hours, and then eat like ground beef or a small steak or something like that. It helped me. If I tried eating anything else other than the eggs and bacon to begin with, I was in the bathroom for hours after that. It just ran through me. It wasn't good. But I found what worked for me to break my fast so I didn't have that issue. And now even the 48 to 72 hour fast I've been doing this month so far, I haven't had any issues, and I haven't been breaking them that way either. I've just been eating normal, and my body's been handling it really good. A lot of Canadian teams are making the choice not to cross the border. Canadians. Yeah, but it's a big deal where you're at and what you guys are doing there. There's a lot of good Canadian players. I know we had one of the guys I work with is a billet family, and our team isn't doing that well this year, which is frustrating because they've got some really good players. The head coach that we've had for the last few years turned the reins over to an assistant coach, and they pulled that back here the first part of this month or end of December. They restructured again and trying to get stuff put back and trying to get the guys to work together. We lost a couple of players who weren't happy with the way the first head coach was doing stuff. They weren't happy with it. They left. They went back to their home states, their home countries, and got out of here. I don't think I've ever heard that happen with our team before. Our team's, this is our 15th season for this team, and I've been going to their games for about 13 seasons. So I've never seen the players leave like that before. They get traded all the time and stuff like that happens, but where we've had a couple of really good players leave and go back to their home countries, just unheard of, at least for this team. Brysby is saying pork works well for him, John. You've heard this from the others like Rick and Dustin. Larry does pork too. You feel great on pork and have healed. I understand others not satiated or feel worse. It depends upon what the pork is fed to, because it doesn't have the 4-chamber stomach, so what it's eating will have a direct effect on some people. Yeah, digestive disturbance under 72-hour starting fast. And you did have to add electrolytes. Got cramps on the first time in many months. This is my second electrolyte right here this morning, because I had cramps last night, and it was really odd for me now to have cramps still. But I had 2 Liquid Death mineral waters, just the plain mineral water. I had 2 of those yesterday. And it seems like when I have carbonated water, even if it's like the Topo Chico, well, especially the Topo Chico, if I have Topo Chico in the glass bottles, the carbonation is so much stronger. But it seems like if I have one of those, I have to have extra electrolytes, or I have issues with cramping with Topo Chico. You don't have the gallbladder, though, and have Hashimoto, so additional context, yeah. I do remember that. And that does make different issues with you. Do you take like ox bile or anything like that for not having the gallbladder? John says it took me the longest time just for my body to get adjusted to beef. Really? That's different. I actually adjusted to the beef really quick. Having issues with eggs. I've always liked to have my eggs a little runny, even the whites. And then after cutting out all the other junk, I found that if the whites are runny, then I have issues with histamines on that. Aaron, you don't have trouble breaking it fast? That's awesome. Good morning, Sarah. How are you today? It's nice seeing you here. You just finished your deliveries and now chores and church. Hope you have a wonderful day. What team are you talking about? Oh, all kinds of teams. For the hockey, where I'm talking about our local NAHL Junior Hockey League, we have a team here in town, so we go to all their games and stuff like that. It's a lot of good fun. Sarah's talking to Bryce Biscuit. What kind of deliveries do you do, Sarah? One of the Dallas Stars or the Minnesota North Stars? Yep. And my team played in the Patrick division. Yeah, I remember when they moved down to Dallas. Didn't like that. I still don't like the Dallas Stars. The company I worked for, when the inaugural season for the Minnesota Wild, the owner of the company I worked for was a courier company. He had season tickets, and he went to the very first game, and then after that, he gave the tickets away to the employees. So my wife and I got to actually go to see one of the first year games for the Minnesota Wild. It was actually pretty cool. I think I still have the T-shirt from it too, the original first season T-shirt. Just started stocking up on sardines. Got 24 cans of King Oscar and water and 12 cans of herring kipper snacks. No, they are not cheap. Those are the good ones. They're not the cheap ones, that's for sure. Bryce, basically, you ran out of magnesium supplements during your 72-hour sardine fast, so possibly factor as well. That could be. Magnesium does a lot for cramping. It makes a big difference. You took ox bile and lipase during keto. No longer need when you went carnivore. Well, that's good. I thought you would probably need more on carnivore dealing with the fat digestion, but maybe the amount of time that you're on keto helped that. Too much egg gives you terrible lower back pain. Wow. It's amazing that you can pinpoint what it is, Uncle Willie. That's actually pretty good. You'll take the win this time. Last year, you're still bedridden. You were bedridden for 2.5 years. Wow. Rome wasn't built on a day. That's true. Man, it's amazing that you were bedridden and now you're up and moving and living a good life. You deliver chicken eggs. Your young flock just started laying, so it's about to get crazy. I wish I lived near you, Sarah. I love fresh eggs. They are so good. My wife used to work with a guy that had pet ducks, and they couldn't eat the duck eggs. This was years ago. So he would bring duck eggs into work, and she'd get duck eggs every now and then. Those are amazing. Bridesmaid, so true, John. You're still homebound and was bedridden back in 2016, 2018. We rise together. Yes. You love supporting and following smaller local teams. Yep. That's fun that they have hockey. Yeah, and the league itself is actually a pretty good thing for these kids. All the kids that are here are between, I believe, 17 and 20 once you turn 21. If you turn 21 in December, then you're done playing once you turn 21. If you turn 21 after in January, then you get to continue to play to the end of the season. But they're all under 21 years old. The guys that are still young enough and are in school stuff still have to attend an online school. They have a lot of rules, and our coaches, actually, the coach that we have now is really strict with these guys. It makes a huge difference. You could see the difference of the team, the way they played the first couple of games when he took over. Big difference. Bridesmaid, you had your gallbladder taken out in 98, so I have plenty of time to adapt. Yeah, I remember that. We've talked about that before. Let's see, when you start figuring out sardines pound by pound, do I think sardines are not really, isn't all that cheap? No, pound for pound, they're not that cheap, but for the nutrients that come with them, they're actually not that bad. Oh, you do have duck eggs? Your ducks are starting to lay? All the best are goose eggs. I've never had a goose egg, but I can imagine they'd be a little bit bigger too. I know the duck eggs that we were getting were really pretty good size. Your geese start laying in March. Oh, they'll start laying in March. That's good. You get some nice big eggs on that. That's amazing. I know there's a few people around here that we can get fresh eggs from. I just haven't done it from them yet. I don't know why. But I know one of the guys I work with, he gets 1 or 2 dozen fresh duck eggs or chicken eggs from this gal every couple of weeks. So now, just talking a little bit earlier about stuff like my daughter trying to eat better, and it's actually to my 2 oldest daughters are trying. They're both trying to work on eating better. They both have health issues, and it's really hard for me to not nag them about what they're eating and how they eat. I have a hard time doing that because finding out for myself what caused all my aches and my pains and all this garbage that I went through for the last how many years. It's I want to save them the pain and the trouble from doing it. You know, same with my son and my middle daughter, but you know, nobody wants to listen to that. One of the I actually sent a couple of videos to my older daughters from Carnivore Teacher Alpha. If you haven't looked at his channel, he's got some really good videos. Uh, I've sent some stuff from John to them so that they can see it from somebody other than me. And it's stuff that I've said to them before. And my oldest daughter actually replied back that she liked and followed. Is going to be watching his stuff because she connected with him. My second oldest one didn't hear anything back from her, but she tries. She's her and her fiance are trying to eat better, so they have gone and they've bought the primal rib roast or the strip loin roast. And they're cutting their own steaks, so it's actually really nice to see them do that. But it's still so hard for me to sit back and not talk to them about everything that I've gone through and stuff that I've learned in the last almost 2 years now that I've been doing this. It's just hard. You watch John every day now. Yeah, you love Alpha's content. He does, and just the way he puts them out there, it's really well done. It's very knowledgeable. He's not preaching at people. He's just giving you the facts, and I really like that with him. You cook breakfast every day for your daughters. Always clean meat and eggs. The sad mixed diet the rest of the day, but it's a start. It is, and it starts their day out right. My youngest now is 21, so I don't have control of what anybody eats anymore. I wish I did. Heck, we have our granddaughter with us most of the time, most mornings, like on the weekends and stuff, and they won't even let me get her eating good to begin with. So, your middle son bought a house last year and moved out, and you bet he's gained 30 pounds. Yeah, just from the way that they're eating makes a big difference. Sarah, I care for my elderly parents, and my dad has Alzheimer's. My mom has a lifetime of health issues. It's mostly all related to diet. That's true. And it's so sad to watch. My dad is a sugar addict now. It's so bad. It really is. Just watching Dr. Barry's reaction to the new food pyramid and the amount of saturated fat that we're supposed to be getting on diet. It's not listed on the food pyramid, but it's in the text of it. And we're only supposed to be getting 10% of our calories from saturated fat, according to the new food pyramid. And that's absolutely terrible. You should be getting your calories from saturated fat and 10% of them from other places. That'd be the better way to do it, especially for people suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. It's directly related to your insulin issues and sugar. So back that off and switch it over to a higher fat content would help somebody out tremendously, but you can't get a doctor to tell you that. You can't get the food pyramid to do that. So hospitals, military, all the places that use those guidelines still have to stick with the saturated fat nonsense is bad for you. Julie says her daughters never listened to you about the way of eating until your youngest had a severe colitis attack. She found her why. She's 3 weeks strict carnivore now and doing great. That's amazing, Juliet. So she actually switched over and started eating this way and has found relief. Have you shown her Kent Carnivore stuff from Lee Kopus? He's got an amazing story for what he went through. So you believe, you really believe that you have to be the example? Yep. Free will is everything. When your daughters are ready, they'll come. Yeah, and they will. And it's just so hard. I had to do the same thing with my wife. She might be watching. I don't know. She watches me sometimes do this. But I had to do the same thing with my wife. I did not push her to eat this way or anything. And she started wearing a CGM. She started seeing what was making her blood sugars go up. And she started eliminating the garbage. And now she eats mostly carnivore. You never preach anything to them. Just share your opinion at times regarding consequences of bad choices. They watched you heal closely, apparently, and they have struggled with mental health too. Yeah, it's rough to watch them do that when you know how it's worked for you and what it would do for them too. You were so excited to be an example. Yeah. When you initially lost 80 pounds, reversed autoimmune, and stopped cancer from growing. Then you regain the weight, autoimmune flared up again, and you felt like a failure. Oh, but then you can see if me fall and pick myself back up, you can still be an example. Absolutely. And that's the important thing is that you know what happened, you know what it can do for you, and you just have to decide to do it again for yourself. Yeah, the new food pyramid is a mixed message at best, but still an improvement, not enough to get everyone to health, but it can be a start for many. And that's the food pyramid is put out there based on a healthy person. And a healthy person can do well on the food pyramid. But as Dr. Baker said in his last video, only 12% of the American population is healthy. 88% have metabolic disease markers. And, I'm still one of them. I'm still overweight. I still have 13 pounds to lose before I get out of the overweight category. And hopefully in the next month or so, I can be there. If I could be down to Wonderland, into the ones, down under 200 pounds by the summer, I'll be extremely happy. For me, that'd be where I want to be, and I'd be very happy with that. Yes, Kent, Carnivore. She watched me and really related to his every word. He's a new fan. That's good. Lee's, I like Lee, and he's got a heck of a sense of humor. But his story is very, very touching as to what happened to him and how he found carnivore and found healing and everything that's happened to him since. It's really cool. You believe RFK's hands are tied and that he is only able to do so much? Yep. Many in Trump's cabinet seem to have been brought in to bring in votes, but he has kept their hands tied. Are you thinking Trump is keeping their hands tied? I think it's more of the swamp that's doing a lot of that stuff too. Your Hashimoto's remains the hardest one of your diseases to heal from. It's been many decades, so giving much more time. Yeah, and we're finding that with my wife's type 2 diabetes. She's done really well. She's off all her medicine. Her blood sugars at times still run high. Even if she eats a strict carnivore, high fat and everything, her blood sugars will still run high. And I think part of that is the amount of damage that has been done to her pancreas over the years. She was diagnosed as a diabetic. It was right around 2000. And the medication that they insisted that she had to take was metformin. She is one of the people who metformin did not work for her. She had really bad reactions to it, even to the extended release metformin that the majority of people can tolerate. She can't tolerate that, and that's all they wanted to give her. And so she rebelled, and she just didn't take it. So a lot of times her blood sugars were just completely out of control, and she wasn't testing her. So I know her pancreas has been really overworked, and she does have what is that called? The byproduct from making insulin, the C peptide. She is making it, and it's insufficient amounts. She wasn't low; she was actually doing pretty good. So I know her pancreas is still working, but she has done the damage to it. Don't tell my food pyramid I'm doing 95% fat, getting those ketones up. That's what I'm talking about. You just do the opposite of what they say, which worked really well for me with the last food pyramid. So they're telling me on this one here to limit my saturated fat to 90% or to 10%. I'll limit it to 90% now. That's a good way to do it, Willie. Your daughter is beef, butter, bacon, eggs like you. You can't keep enough eggs and butter in the house. You have to get used to shopping for 2 carnivores. Yeah, that's one of the things that we go through a lot of butter. My wife likes butter, and I've actually found that I don't mind it either myself. Just fried a few eggs, Aaron. It's good breakfast. It's a good start. Yep, Ken Carnivore, Coach Stefan, George, for certain. Even Bart is fun at times. I like Bart K. He's such a smartass, and I actually like his humor. It took you to get used to Bart, huh? You're a big fan now. He does have a unique. He's unique. Let's just say that Bart is unique. I do like him. Your A1C came way down from type 2, but insulin resistance still shows in many markers. And it does. And, insulin resistance is it's a tough thing to deal with. But I do want my wife to get back in and have some done. I want to see what her A1C is. I want to see where her insulin and her C peptide are so that we can see how this way of eating has been doing for her. Her last test was in January of last year. So it's been a year. Yeah, the swamp is, I think they're really, really trying to keep Trump and anybody that's on his side down. Yeah, most surprising on our starting fast, your glucose dropped way down around 20 points slower over the time. Yeah, and mine actually didn't drop all that much on my sardine fast. I was kind of surprised that it just stayed really steady. It just stayed in the 90s the whole time. You're taking the metformin, Aaron. My wife doesn't take metformin anymore, but she will take berberine. Berberine does seem to help her with her glucose control. She still takes some other medications, and when she takes those medicines, you can see as soon as she takes it, her glucose goes up. Why do they mix medications with sugars? I don't understand. You're taking a pill, you don't taste it. Why do you have to put sugar in it or whatever it is that's making the glucose go up like that? It just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Oh, I'd be afraid to speak to Bart if I met him in person. I think he called me an idiot. Just kidding. He's a very nice person. Yeah. What he does on YouTube is it's a stage for him. So, and he's very good at what he's doing on there too. Yeah, 20 points is a lot. You remember talking about my wife having dental issues and impact blood sugar on the A1C. Yep. She her dentist wouldn't pull her teeth for her to get dentures until her A1C was under control. She had an A1C of 15. We struggled for 3 years to get her blood sugars under control, and it wasn't until she started eating a almost strict carnivore diet that her blood sugars went from 500 fasting and a 15 A1C to 160 and a 8.7 A1C. And that was basically within like a month and a half of eating strict carnivore that she dropped it that far. And then her dentist would actually do it. And that's where we had her C-peptide and her insulin checked, was last January. Her doctor didn't want to do the order for those because they were, you don't need those. They don't tell you anything. And she told her doctor that her dentist wanted to see them, and she can't have her dental stuff until he sees that stuff. And then she was okay with doing it because somebody else asked for it, not just her. You've seen Bart much more amenable on other shows like Kiltz. He does play a bit of a character likely to boost his reach in the algorithm. Yes, he does. Sausage, biscuits, and gravy for breakfast? Now, are you making that yourself, JG? Or is it a packet? Or are you following a different type of a recipe? Are you eating in a keto carnivore way, or are you just eating whatever comes from the restaurant? Fat heals. Yeah, absolutely does, Sarah. And it makes a huge difference. Gotta run. Have a great day, Sarah. We'll talk to you later. It was steady between the low 60s at night into the 80s at the high briefly. Typically, you're in the 80s to 100, so the stability is similar, just lower overall. And that's pretty good. Mine just, I don't know if it's just the way my CGM has been reading. It just pretty much stays flatline and level. My glucose goes up 10 points here and then goes down 10 points. And then that's throughout the day, depending on what I'm doing. It just up and down. It just happens. It was the first time, Coach Juliet, ketones had a lot to do with it. I believe they were likely higher than they have been. You did use a little MCT oil in the coffee at the time as well. Well, that's good. I've actually tried some MCT oil, and I haven't had much luck with MCT oil for my ketones. I haven't noticed any difference in when I did use them. But I do notice when I take my D3K2, and I don't know what the difference would be, is it's in a coconut oil, but my ketones, when I just take just that, do seem to go up a little bit more, especially when I'm fasting. I'm bad about taking stuff like the D3K2. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. And I don't like taking medications of any type, but it makes a difference here in the winter time in this state where, 1 minute you're blowing snow and it's 30 below zero, and the next minute the sun's so bright you can't even look outside. You did dairy, but you didn't do dairy under a sardine fast. That pretty much revealed my dairy addiction. Black coffee is not your thing yet. See, I prefer black coffee. I don't really care for creamers or anything like that in my coffee. But I did buy the instant coffee, and I was talking to Larry about that. And I know why he puts cream in it now, because that stuff it's got a bite to it. Stress, or how you handle stress, is 100% the reason your continuous ketone monitor will stay below 0.5. All other times you remain at 1 to 2, which is great. But as soon as long stress hit, yes. And that is something I have issues with at work is stress. The November and December and a little bit into this month here, it's been kind of stressful at work. And I have noticed that when I stress, my ketones are much lower than when I'm not. Even if my blood glucose is decent, my ketones are much less. And dealing with stress is really something different. Hey, Julie, did you get the ketone spreadsheet that Lewis put into the Lion Diet on KMT? It's actually a pretty good spreadsheet. And has the company that you got the ketone monitor from, have they said anything about when they may be releasing that in the US for use? I'd really like to get one of them things. Uncle Willie, been almost a month without coffee, still waiting for your superpowers. Well, the first time I gave up coffee, the superpower that it gave me was pain-free legs, pain-free feet. Wake up in the morning and I could get up out of bed and I could start walking without having to sit there and massage my feet, flex my feet, move them around, for 2 or 3 minutes before I tried standing on them. My superpower was being pain-free. And then I come to find out that it was actually the brand of coffee that I was drinking that was causing my issues. I love the Black Rifle coffee. Love the flavor. It's really good stuff, but it caused me pain. So I don't drink it anymore, at least not Black Rifle. I do drink the Dunn Brothers, Papua New Guinea Western Highlands, and that specific coffee doesn't give me pain. And I haven't had issues with it. My tinnitus isn't getting any better or any worse with it. It's not getting any better, but it's not getting any worse with it either. You didn't see it, but you'll check it out. USDA said will be approved in 2026. Looks like the ketone monitor passed the test, but now we wait for the red tape. Yeah, and that's junk too much there. According to Dr. Boz, the ketone CGM will be in the U.S. shortly. Yeah, and I've actually been looking at it. I've been watching it. You can order them. You can actually get them from Europe. They're kind of expensive, like 67 euros for them. You won't use your Keto Mojo until you think you're in ketosis. The test strips cost way too much. Yeah, that's true. They're expensive. Hey, Carnivore Helix, how are you today? It's nice to see you here this morning. How's your weekend going so far? But yeah, just even the ketones for Keto Mojo. My ketones this morning were at 0.7. My blood sugars were at 101, which I don't know why they were above 100 when I woke up this morning. You heard Dr. Berry say the continuous ketone, even insulin, and other real-time monitors will be coming out in the near future. Can you imagine if people actually figured out what their insulin did and how important of a marker the insulin was? Having a continuous insulin monitor would really tell people a lot, and it would help with so many things. I know my obesity and my hypertension directly related to insulin. So once I got my insulin under control, that all went away. Brian's basically saying hi to Helix. John is saying hi to Robin. 5% discount on your site for the CKM, but very clear you buy, but not US approved. I have to check that out. Yeah, I know it's not approved in the US. I don't care. It's great. 16th day of the Lion Diet. Your son are playing hard today. That's good. I thought about going out and shoveling today because we got snow last night. Sidewalk, driveway, all need to be shoveled out today. So I might be doing that here after I get done with this live stream. Go out there and pushing a shovel around. Yeah, lipid too, like cholesterol monitors. I'm not, I'd be more interested in my insulin over cholesterol any day. You're more likely to have issues because of your insulin than you are because of your cholesterol. It's actually one of the things that Dr. Berry was talking about in his video yesterday was about the markers for your cholesterol aren't that important. You're 10 times more likely to have issues with your blood sugars and insulin than you are with your cholesterol. So, and good morning, Heather. How are you doing today? It's nice seeing you here again. Yeah, insulin is more concerning. Yeah, when you're doing your next live Carnivore Helix. I've actually watched a few of them. Wouldn't it be great if technology comes to pass that we have these free monitors and they can forward results to your doctors? No more doctors' visits for lab tests. They just email us. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Jenny Minich has a thing going with Own Your Own Labs right now where she's got a experiment out there and you can join it. You can do the testing that she has listed for her experiment, and then the results can be used by researchers for whatever they want. But for me, that'd be something I'd really be interested in doing. But the closest place for me to do your own lab stuff is about a 400-mile drive, and it's not convenient. If Own Your Own Labs could get into every state and get into some of the bigger places, like here in North Dakota, we're a small state, but there's 6 major towns, and they cover the state very well. So if you could get testing places for something like Own Your Own Labs and the 6 main places in North Dakota, it'd be something I'd be doing. I'd be checking out my own blood work and doing all that kind of stuff because it's actually kind of stuff I like to do. You wish you could figure a way to boost your HDL. You've talked to Jenny, and she said her husband and many others have the same problem. Yeah, and he had the issue where the lipotoxicity, they had to reduce the amount of fat that he had in his diet for him to start thriving and doing good on the carnivore diet. You're supposed to be working but can't help yourself chatting away. All right, have a good one, Coach Juliet. Was he over in Larry's meeting? Oh, Monday at 1 for your live Carnivore Helix. Huh. I have to go look and see it again. Eventually have AI doctors give us real-time health updates. Yeah, can you imagine arguing with an AI about your health and not taking a statin because you don't believe in them? Take care, Coach Juliet. Oh. So with that, it is time for Larry. Is he on yet? Larry should be popping on and doing his live now. And he is. So with that, I am going to say goodbye to y'all, and I'm going to go join Larry's live stream and chat with people in there. You all have a great night, great day, great weekend. Enjoy the sporting events if that's what you're going to be doing here. Yeah, Uncle Willie, we'll see you over there. And for those of you that don't know, Uncle Willie is crispy bacon in the other chat. So say hi to Chris when you get in there too. And we'll talk to you all in just a little bit. I'll be back here next week, next Saturday, next Sunday, same place. Have a great day, y'all.